Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs, that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
The live interview with the shadowy Dennis drew international attention. Portions were broadcast by radio in 6 European countries and in a nationally televised TV special in Japan.
Bob Lazar. For decades, his name has been whispered in hushed tones across conspiracy forums, UFO conventions, and mainstream media. The man who burst into public consciousness in 1989 with astonishing claims about Area 51 and a secretive site called S4 forever changed how the world viewed the Nevada desert. Lazar spoke of alien craft, antimatter reactors, and technology so advanced it seemed torn from science fiction. His claims inspired everything from blockbuster movies to late-night debates, yet have also been met with relentless skepticism. Still, he remains at the heart of UFO lore, steadfast in his version of the truth. What exactly is being hidden at Area 51? Bob Lazar says he knows, and today we're diving deep into what he revealed about the secrets buried in the desert.
When you get off the bus, what do you see?
It's a very interesting building. It's got a slope of probably about 30 degrees, which are hangar doors. And it has textured paint on it, but it looks like sand. It's made to look like the side of the mountain that it's in, whether it's to disguise it from satellite photographs or what.
In 1989, Bob Lazar emerged from the shadows and ignited a cultural firestorm. Introduced to the public through journalist George Knapp, Lazar first spoke under the alias Dennis, hidden in silhouette. Eventually, he stepped forward, revealing himself and his extraordinary story. According to Lazar, the U.S. government had secured 9 alien spacecraft housed at a top-secret facility known as S4, located just south of the infamous Area 51. Lazar claimed he'd been hired to reverse engineer these otherworldly vehicles. His task was to unravel the mysteries of propulsion and unlock a technological breakthrough that could forever alter human understanding of physics. Lazar described his job with a mix of awe and fear. He was allegedly flown to Groom Lake before being transported by bus, its windows blacked out, to S4. There, buried into a mountainside, were concealed hangars containing saucer-like crafts. Lazar asserted these were not prototypes or human-made projects. They were alien machines unlike anything on Earth. He recounted seeing one particular model, dubbed the Sport model, and described how it hovered silently off the ground, operating through means unknown to conventional science. The propulsion systems, according to Lazar, ran on an antimatter reactor using a mysterious substance called element 115. At the time of his claim, the element had not been synthesized or officially added to the periodic table, lending a sense of intrigue to his story. Lazar explained that the reactors produced gravity waves, which could be amplified and directed, allowing the craft to manipulate gravity itself. To him, the physics were revolutionary, defying every known rule. Skepticism followed Lazar immediately. Critics pounced on holes in his background. His educational history, for instance, became a sticking point. Institutions he claimed to have attended, like MIT and Caltech, had no records of him. Still, he produced a W-2 form allegedly showing payment from the Department of Naval Intelligence. Authentic or not, the form and his detailed descriptions kept the public's imagination aflame.
The power source is an antimatter reactor. They run gravity amplifiers. There's actually 2 parts to the drive mechanism. It's a bizarre technology. There's no physical hookup between any of the systems in there. They use gravity as a wave, using waveguides, almost like microwaves.
Secrets of S4. According to Lazar, his work at S4 was both fascinating and terrifying. The facility itself was built with deception in mind, blending into the desert landscape and disguised to avoid detection from both the sky and ground. Lazar claimed the hangars were camouflaged with textured paint to mimic the mountainside. Inside, however, were the real secrets. 9 distinct craft, each seemingly designed for different purposes, suggesting they did not all come from the same origin. Each craft, Lazar stated, was different. Some appeared damaged, while others looked pristine. He believed that at least one had been operational for testing purposes. During his time at S4, he was briefed on supposed extraterrestrial origins, though much of this came in the form of documents he was told to study rather than first-hand observation. Still, the implication was clear. These machines did not belong to Earth. Of all the crafts, the Sport model stood out in his mind the most. He claimed it had no visible seams, no bolts or welds, and appeared to be one solid piece. When powered, it hovered effortlessly, giving off no exhaust or sound. According to Lazar, this was made possible by the manipulation of gravity itself. He described gravity amplifiers and waveguides that bent space-time, allowing the craft to essentially fall through distortions in gravity rather than using conventional propulsion. Equally shocking were his descriptions of the power source. He said the antimatter reactor ran on element 115, which allowed the production of powerful gravity waves. Lazar explained that when bombarded with protons, the element 115 produced antimatter, which then reacted with matter to release energy. The process, he claimed, powered the craft without dangerous radiation leaking into the environment, a stunning feat if true. But the environment at S4 was far from awe-inspiring. Lazar said security was intense and intimidating. He recalled being subjected to harsh treatment, constant surveillance, and even having weapons pointed at him. He described the psychological pressure as oppressive, designed to ensure silence and obedience.
Polygrapher Terry Tavernetti runs a corporate security operation and is a former Los Angeles police officer. He put Lazar through 4 tests and concluded there was no attempt to deceive.
A culture of silence and skepticism. When Lazar first shared his story publicly, reactions were mixed and often polarized. UFO enthusiasts quickly embraced his claims, seeing them as validation of long-held suspicions about Area 51 and government secrecy. Pop culture followed suit. Films like Independence Day and Paul borrowed liberally from Lazar's narrative, embedding his story into the broader mythology of alien conspiracy. Yet, mainstream science and media outlets were far more critical. Skeptics focused on inconsistencies in Lazar's background. Educational institutions could not verify his attendance. Employment records at prestigious labs were missing or incomplete. Some pointed out that his only documented scientific work related to jet propulsion hobbyism. These factors, they argued, cast serious doubt on his credibility. Legal troubles added to the fire. Lazar was later arrested and convicted in connection to running a brothel, which damaged his public image. Years later, new evidence began to emerge that kept Lazar's story alive. Old directories and news clippings showed that Lazar had indeed worked at Los Alamos, suggesting that at least part of his resume was genuine. And the introduction of element 115 into the periodic table decades after Lazar first mentioned it reignited interest in his claims.
That's got to be the biggest event in history, period.
And it's real.
And it's real and it's there. And I had an extremely small part in it, but I'm convinced that what I saw is absolute proof of that. There is
renewed attention and modern revelations. In 2018, Lazar's claims found new life through filmmaker Jeremy Corbell's documentary Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. The film introduced his story to a new generation and was soon followed by a high-profile appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast. During the interview, he doubled down on his accounts. He expressed frustration over skepticism, but reiterated his belief that he had seen and worked on alien technology. He also revealed lingering fears about government harassment and efforts to discredit him. Interestingly, Corbell himself did not definitively endorse Lazar's story, but stated there was more evidence supporting it than discrediting it.
If indeed they have these flying saucers, George, it seems like it would be really hard to keep it so secret.
Well, yeah, it would seem that way, except for as Lazar asked his superiors up there, they say it's the easiest secret in the world to keep. It's leaked out many times before and nobody believes it.
What if he's right? A lingering question. For over 30 years, Bob Lazar's tale has refused to fade into obscurity. With each passing decade, his story is revisited, analyzed, and debated. Even as skeptics dismiss parts of his account, some of his more extraordinary claims have gained unexpected support. The synthesis of element 115, decades after he described its use, is often pointed to as one example. His insistence that alien craft were hidden in plain sight has also become harder to ignore in the wake of the Pentagon's UAP disclosures. While modern UAP incidents do not prove extraterrestrial contact, they suggest that advanced aerial vehicles exist beyond public knowledge. For Lazar's supporters, this is more than coincidence. At the same time, secrecy surrounding Area 51 and military testing programs remains ironclad. The lack of transparency fuels conspiracy theories and allows stories like Lazar's to thrive. If Lazar was part of a compartmentalized program, as he claims, then the absence of corroborating witnesses does not necessarily disprove his account. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Bob Lazar saw alien technology at Area 51? Let us know in the comments section below.